Hi, my name is Representative Lynda Schlegel Culver. We're here in Harrisburg at the Farm Show building for the 98th Farm Show. I'm here with Secretary Greig from the Department of Agriculture. So my first question to you is to why we can't say annual.
Well, there was a couple years that they did not have the farm show. One was from a flood, and one was during the war. They saved their resources. So it is not the annual, but it is the 98th.
Right. I think most people believe that we've been doing this continuous for 98 years. So, you know, this is the farm show. Your favorite thing about the farm show?
Has to be the milkshakes. And this year we are celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Farm Show milkshake. It's definitely the most popular food group here at the Farm Show. And one of the most interesting stories is we have 3 young ladies here who have been here since the beginning. They have been here every 60 of the 60 years.
Oh my gosh, making the milkshakes or just?
And they were serving. This year the governor bought the first milkshake, and they served him. They are 80, 81, 84, and 90 years old. So, but they're still serving. So we got them up in the governor's box during opening ceremonies and recognized them for their volunteer service. Of course, you know, at the farm show, it couldn't go on without all the volunteers that we have, and I just want to say a few words about the volunteers. You know, service is what it's all about. You know, I know that, you know that, and a lot of people, volunteerism is their life, and I do appreciate all the people that come together to make a show like this happen.
That's great, because kind of goes in with my next question. You know, this is either the cap off or the lead off to all the county fairs that are coming up this year for us. All of them run by volunteers, you know, trying to get people to understand, you know, what it takes to grow the agriculture, you know, what do they say, from field to table. Can you talk about maybe the budget and the funding for the local fairs this year and what it means to our communities?
I appreciate your support for the fairs, for the fair funding. It's up to $3 million, I think, for this coming year. And fairs are very important. They're part of, aside from being part of the heritage and history of Pennsylvania agriculture, they're very big economic impact for the county and community that they're in. But they also allow us to showcase agriculture and to tell the non-farming community and our city people how the food is grown and how it's produced and how we treat our animals. There's a lot involved, and it helps tell the story of agriculture. This year's theme for the farm show is Pennsylvania Farms Growing for You, and it's very important. You know, all the fairs across the state, great economic impact, and it just kind of brings all the people of Pennsylvania back together, brings them together.
It does, and I know when people come to my home from out of state and they're eating the local beef and the local potatoes, they think it tastes so much better than what they get, you know, when it's shipped long distances. So.
Well, when you're talking local, then that's kind of a lead into PA Preferred.
Yes.
I want to thank you for your support on PA Preferred. That's been a great program. PA Preferred is a permanent branding program for Pennsylvania ag products, and it has helped us to grow our ag industry. You know, we have grown a little more than 1% over the past year, which is big because a lot of other states are losing ground on agriculture. But for us, the gain was big, and part of that was because of PA Preferred and local products. When you buy local products, then you know it's also a food safety issue, because every time that you buy a product that's shipped in from somewhere else, every time it's handled by someone, there's a chance for contamination. And so when you buy local, you're reducing that risk of contamination, and it's ensuring that you're getting a fresh food. So.
Well, just coming off the holidays and speaking of food, we did pass a piece of legislation dealing with potatoes, helping our potato farmers. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, I can. It seems like years ago they passed a law in Pennsylvania, and I think it was probably to sell more potatoes. And they said you could only sell it in, I think the lowest was 6-pound bags. Well, it did not apply to other states. So if the potatoes were bagged in 5-pound bags in other states and then shipped into Pennsylvania, and you put a 5-pound bag alongside of a 6-pound bag, you might not see the difference in the size, but they could sell them cheaper, so people were buying the cheaper potatoes. So the law that you just were talking about, the potato bill, put Pennsylvania farmers back on the level playing field with other states.
So it allows them to sell them in different poundages now.
That's correct.
I thought that was interesting when we had that question. So I want to talk about, this is an important year, an anniversary year for ag preservation, correct?
Yes, it is.
You talk about that a little bit?
Yes, I can. We celebrated our 25th year of the Farmland Preservation Program. Pennsylvania leads the nation in farmland preservation, and we have 478,000 acres preserved in Pennsylvania, by far more than any other state in the nation. Farmland preservation is very important because of urban growth and pressure from development. We need to preserve our farmland. I get questions of when can we stop preserving farmland? That's a lot of tax dollars, a lot of money coming from other sources to preserve that farmland. But right now we're feeding our population on 7.75 million acres. We have 500,000 acres preserved. So we have a long ways to go to ensure that we have the farmland and the cropland to feed our citizens and our future citizens. So we're leading the nation, but we need to continue our efforts.
And we just, I guess, lessened some of the inspections on some of the preserved farmland. That was Representative Ron Miller's bill. How is that helpful, and why was that needed?
Well, the inspection went from a yearly inspection to a 2-year inspection, and it is cost saving for most conservation districts, most farmland preservation board, because we're getting more and more farms, and it takes them a while to do those, but so you have time and travel and all that. So I've heard of some of the counties are saving up to between $30,000 and $40,000 a year, which is a big deal.
Significant,
for
right?
That, which allows more money to be freed up to go back towards purchasing the easement of farms. So it's cutting some of the red tape and bureaucracies, and I think we need a lot more than that of that.
So another friend of mine introduced legislation, Representative Marcia Hahn, and it was quite an education for me because it was high tunnels. Can you explain to everybody what high tunnels are and why we needed this legislation?
High tunnels are the structures that are used mostly for greenhouses, but they're being used for other, like temporary hay storage or grain storage, things like that. And in other states, they are tax exempt on property taxes, which again put Pennsylvania at a disadvantage.
Right.
And so by the passing of this law, it kind of put Pennsylvania back onto the level playing field with the other states, and it allows us to be more competitive because most of them are used in fruit and vegetable production. So we have a large fruit and vegetable market. Because of our location, we're so close to the heavy population areas. I think we're at within an 8-hour drive of 80% of the population in the United States, 60% of the population in Canada, and this gives us an opportunity to grow our fruits and vegetable industry, and also gives farmers other options of protecting their commodities, the things that they produce.
Now, two more questions for you. One is veterinarians. I know everyone who has an animal is very attached to their veterinarian, the health of their animals. But we seem to forget that we need them in the farming industry as well, the large breed animals. And we're seeing in our area a lot more of that happening. And I know we did some more support of that in our budget. Can you talk about the importance of that?
Well, it's very important because the veterinaries, the new graduate veterinaries, they can make a lot of money on dogs and cats and small animals. But the industry needs large animal vets. And I know the University of Pennsylvania is the only large animal vet school in Pennsylvania, and it's very important that we continue to educate our youth to be these large animal vets to serve the ag industries, the horse and the cattle industries in Pennsylvania. We're fifth in dairy production, so we have a lot of dairy cattle in Pennsylvania, and we're constantly looking for veterinaries to treat those animals.
So now, before I leave here and try and make my way through this farm show, which probably would take the entire week every day to do that, can you tell me maybe what we're looking forward to in the next year?
Well, if we had a wish list, we'd wish for good weather and high prices and all that. But I think that if we have consistent growth in our ag industries and a good relationship with our legislators, I know that a lot of times regulation is the top thing on farmers' minds. And, we have to strike that balance. Yes, we have to improve our environment, but we also have to be very careful that we do not discourage the farmers enough that we lose the ability to feed ourselves and the nation. So.
Okay, I want to thank you for your time today. I know you have a lot of respect from the legislature and my constituents back home, so continue the good work and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Thanks.